This is the 3.539 review. This is the review for the quiz that you guys have coming up this week. So we need to simplify, and we're assuming that no denominator is equal to 0. That part's almost irrelevant to you. Why am I writing that? And you'll learn more about that after the quiz. So really just think about you need to simplify. That's it. Okay, so this first thing is just a basic fraction. There's nothing to multiply, nothing to divide, nothing to add. So you're just going to simplify and say, okay, well, I've got 2 divided by 6, which becomes 1/3. I've got more x's on the bottom by 2. I've got more y's on the bottom by 1. And now I'm done. The next one, I can factor the top. It's an IM. It's different from number 1 where it's monomial, monomial. Number 2 up top is trinomial. Well, that's an IM, and I know that x plus 4 and x plus 3, two numbers that multiply to 12, 4 and 3, yet add to 7, 4 and 3. The bottom is a polynomial or a binomial to be more specific. I'm going to put that in parentheses. And the fact that these entire binomials are identical, I can get rid of them. So your final answer for number 2 just becomes the binomial x plus 4. You don't need to put in the parentheses. I just think you really should. Number 3, you're multiplying now. You're not just simplifying, you're multiplying. And you're multiplying two fractions that are both made up of monomials. Multiply straight across the top. 5 times 8 is 40. X total to 4. Y's total to 3. 4 times 15 is 60. X's total to 2. Y's total to 5. Well, there's a number that divides both evenly into 40 and 60. It sure is 10, but if you notice, remember stuff that's like from old. Zeros can go away. So really, I'm just looking about 4 over 6. Well, the number that divides into 4 and into 6 is 2, 2/3. There's more x's on top by 2. There's more y's on the bottom by 2. There's your final answer, 2x squared over 3y squared. Number 4 is a division problem. It's keep, change, flip. So I'm going to do some factoring and flipping at the same time, knowing that when I do that, I'm going to have these two problems. It becomes, division becomes, excuse me, multiplication. This numerator becomes the denominator. This denominator becomes a numerator. When I factor that first fraction, the top left can be factored. It's another IM. What multiplies to 20 but adds to -9, -4, and -5. The bottom fraction is a monomial. Nothing can be done. My new top is the monomial. There it is. My new bottom is factorable by GCF, 5x minus 4. I'm allowed to cross out the x minus 4s because they're the same. What's left on the top, monomial usually comes first, is 10x squared y times x minus 5. What's left on the bottom is 6 times 5, which is 30, right? Just like I multiplied 4 times 15, I've got to multiply 6 times 5. And then x squared y 7. Well, we're not completely simplified because 10 over 30 becomes 1 over 3. X squared over x squared, anything divided by itself, completely goes away. These guys are gone. There's no x's left. They went away. There's more y's on the bottom by 6, and you can't forget that that binomial x minus 5 has to stay on top. So your final answer for that, 1 is irrelevant up top, but it's going to be x minus 5 over 3y to the 6th. Okay. We've got a multiplication problem, so it's keep as is. X minus 1, can't do anything with that. Put it in parentheses. Monomial, can't do anything with that. Put it in, leave it as is. Up top, I don't really know why I just rewrote this, but I did. Really what I noticed, and I should have noticed from the very beginning, these guys are going to go away. These guys are done. So what I have left on top, 6x squared y. What I have left on bottom, 4xy cubed. Well, 6 and 4 are both divisible by 2, becomes 3/2. More x's on top by 1, more y's on bottom by 2. Final answer. Another division problem. So with this division problem, it's keep, change, flip. You need to remember that this numerator belongs on the bottom when I flip it. This denominator belongs on top. When I start factoring, Up top, 2m minus 16. Let me kind of just sort of separate this so hopefully you're not confused. But GCF up top, 2m minus 8. IM on the bottom, what's going to multiply to 24 negative, but add to 2 positive. It's going to be a positive 6 and a negative 4. My new numerator is a GCF, 3m plus 6. My new denominator, binomial, not factorable. There it is. What can we get rid of? M minus 8, m minus 8, m plus 6, m plus 6. On the top, 2 times 3. On the bottom, m minus 4. Again, you don't need the parentheses in the denominator. I think it's probably a good idea to put it there. Alrighty, we are now on to 7. Multiplication, keep as is. Factor the top. Your GCF up top left is going to be 12 with x plus 4. Your GCF on the bottom is going to be 3 with a 2x minus 5. Top right is dots. First time we've seen dots today. So perfect squares. 2x minus 5, 2x plus 5. Denominator, I'm going to multiply to 20 positive, add to 9 positive, x plus 4, x plus 5. Start crossing out. X plus 4s go away. 2x minus 5s go away. That looks like all that can go away. Top, 12, 2x plus 5. Bottom, 3, x plus 5. Well, 12 and 3 divide out to 4. So 4, 2x plus 5. Bottom, x plus 5. You're done. Again, this is all about the factoring. If you can factor, you're fine. If you can't, we got a problem, and we got to figure out what to do about that. So there should be coming in for some extra help, asking for some extra worksheets, something. Okay, so new numerator belongs down there. This is division. Remember, divisions are the only ones that change. Multiplication, keep as is. Division, keep, change, flip. So now I take a look at my top left. It's a GCF. 12 is going to come out. N minus 3 left over. N squared minus 9, dots. N minus 3, N plus 3. New top, GCF, N plus 3. Bottom is a monomial, 8, N minus 5, or N to the 5th. Cross-outs, not a whole lot, just those. On the top, these guys get multiplied. They're the monos, 12n, N minus 3. On the bottom, monomials tend to look better coming first. Oh, how did I miss that? That was silly. Did not quite see that. Let's get that to go away. I don't really need this. Let me just do this again. Okay, so this really should be 12n over 8n to the 5th. So what ends up happening is 4 divided into 12 and 8. 4 goes in there 3, 4 goes in there twice, more n's on the bottom by 4. There's your, by 4. I've got something different on my answer key for some reason. It's just a silly mistake. Okay, so 3 over 2n to the 4th. Let's go to the next one. This is addition, so now we're changing gears. We're now adding. These happen to be like denominators. That's awesome. That's what we want. So the denominator stays the same, 5x plus 40. The numerators, it's just addition. I don't have like terms, so I have to write this as x squared plus 8x. When you get there, and you can do this, you've got a monomial, you've got a binomial up top and a binomial on the bottom. The question is are these binomials factorable? And they both are. The top has a GCF, x plus 8. The bottom has a GCF 5, x plus 8. Goodbye, goodbye, x over 5. 10, subtraction problem. It's subtracting of a monomial, so I'm not going to really worry about, well, actually, we've talked about this already. So subtraction goes to addition, you're going to add the opposite. So my common denominator, x squared minus 9x plus 20. My new numerator, 3x plus negative 12, or 3x minus 12. You should recognize you have a GCF on the top. You should recognize that you have an I am on the bottom. You should also recognize that these guys go away, and your final answer is 3 over x minus 5. When you add and subtract with like denominators, you tend to be able to factor further. When you add and subtract with unlike denominators, you tend to not be able to factor further. But either way, whenever you get your new denominator, or your new numerators, your new tops, look to see if it's factorable. If it is, you have to. Like denominators again. Here's when you got to be careful about that, because now we're subtracting, but we're subtracting an entire polynomial. So I'm just going to kind of do this on the side. I normally don't do this, but you are really being asked to do 6x minus 11 subtracted by 4x plus 1. What you would normally do is you would actually distribute in this negative 1. So your 6x minus 11 would stay the same, but then you'd be subtracting 4x and subtracting 1. This really becomes 2x minus 12. Okay, that's your numerator. I might as well stay right here and put this 2x minus 12 over 4x. I'm going to work from here and then I'll go back. Put parentheses in your numerator. Is it factorable? Yep. 2x minus 6 over 4x. Can I simplify any further? Of course, because 2 over 4 is 1/2, x minus 6, and that x stays down there. That's your final answer. I'm going to come over here, though, because what we normally would be doing is saying, okay, here's our common denominator, right? We would do keep, change all, and then I'd say, okay, well, what is 6x minus 4x? What is negative 11 plus negative 1? So I've got the exact same thing, right? You decide what's best for you. Unlike denominators, feel free to plus a negative if you want. The common denominator here, hopefully you realize, is 14, which means this first fraction has to be multiplied by 2 and 2, or 6x. This second fraction doesn't have to be multiplied by anything. Well, 6x minus x is 5x. I've got two monomials. Nothing divides evenly into 5 or 14. You're done. Again, looking for common denominator. This is unlikes. Common denominator is 15. Nothing has to happen to the first fraction. I'm going to bring down my 4x. It happens to be plus, which makes life nice. This, to get to 15, has to be multiplied by 3. This becomes 6x. Well, I can combine the x's on top, and I can simplify monomials. 2 divides into 10 5 times. That's not true. How about 5 divides into 10? 5 divides into 10 2 times. 5 divides into 15 3. Last question. Unlike denominators, 15x makes them the same. Well, I need to multiply the first fraction by 5. Remember, it's a binomial. This becomes 20x minus 5. It's addition. That's nice. The second one, to get to 15x, I got to multiply by 3. It's a binomial. Becomes 3x minus 24. Up top, x's are 23 of them. Without x's are 29. Put that thing in a parentheses over 15x. You can't do anything with the top. You are finished. All right, so this quiz should be easy as long as you know how to factor. That's the biggie. If you can't factor, you need to see me. If you can factor, life should be grand. Okay, so I'll see you in class. Bye.